fellow illustrators. My name is Yasmin and I'm a middle grade and fantasy book illustrator, helping you with your art journey by going through mine. As an illustrator, we're asked to make tons of illustrations, but at the heart of what we have to do as illustrators is to make a visual story, and visual storytelling becomes an important part. But if you're a beginner, I find that it's not that easy. So I thought about what I know, and I've been a teacher for a number of years, and to help my own students to write their own stories, we used a system of a summary in order to write their own stories. And so I thought back about using that system and decided to use it to my visual storytelling. And I found that it really helped. So I wanted to share it with you to see if it would help you. My summary method we call somebody wanted, but so then. The very first thing, somebody, who is the character of your story, and where are they? So the summary is the character and the setting. Followed by, after that, goes into wanted. Going to be describing, showing through the character's actions what they want to achieve. If that's a knight in shining armor, then you're saying, what does he wants to save a princess, maybe? And so you can include that in the side or somewhere into this separate part of the composition in order to imply that that's what he's trying to achieve. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. Next is but. So that becomes the plot. They can't achieve that. Why? What's getting in their way? What's preventing them? So in the case going back to our knight who's fighting the huge dragon, we have another part. There's an action that the character is doing, and so that already boosts your storytelling already. So becomes in the storyline, what after that? There is this problem that they're facing. So what does the character decide to do? What are the actions that they take? What is the feelings that they might feel? Portray that on the character's face. All of those are questions to feed what's happening in your illustration. Followed by the last one, then. What happens near the end of the story? Does they succeed? Do they not succeed? Where are the characters now? How are the emotions that they're portrayed on their face or body language? Each of those parts are work into the visual storytelling. Answering all of these questions might be really daunting for a beginner illustrator, but you don't have to focus on answering all of them. The intent is to generate questions in order to create a more compelling piece. It draws the reader into seeing what you're doing and wanting to know more about the characters, wanting to know more, do they succeed or not? What happens next? And that's what feeds and goes into visual storytelling. In your illustration, you can put in 1, 2, 3, or even all of them into a single illustration to make a more well-rounded piece. At the same time, you don't have to answer each question as they appear. You can start focusing your illustration around the but part of the illustration, where you figure out there's a problem. Okay, how are they going to face that problem? It's a moment you're trying to choose in the overall story that's created by answering these questions. In addition, adding to answering all of these questions, even if you might not use all of the questions, can help you better understand where you're progressing, what your intent is, what your goal is trying to achieve by this illustration. And also, when you start going into the iteration process, I'm going to make a video about that soon, about what kind of versions of the same illustration. You can also know what would be a more compelling piece as you get out all of the different versions of it. To see this in practice, I also have 2 illustrations that we can look at of my own illustrations from my portfolio, where we can see this main method in progress. For our first cover page, our illustration in Pumpkula, we're looking at who are these characters. So we have 3 characters and they're searching for something. That locked cabinet, that's what they wanted. It becomes glaringly obvious about what the problem is. We have our antagonist, monster, pumpkin character that's getting in the way of them achieving that goal. So they're hiding right now to escape his notice. Then we don't answer the then question. That's for the reading of the book. You read the book to find out then what happens. And so that's the kind of idea that we have planned. Looking at the next picture that we were looking at, we have this black and white piece that I have from my portfolio also. This illustration counts as somewhere in the process of answering those questions. We're not at the beginning of where this portal came from, but we're in the middle, somewhere in the it's happened, this portal has already began, and we're trying to answer the questions now. So we have our somebody, so we have two characters, a boy and a girl. Wanted, we can tell that by the actions of the character. The young boy is trying to reach towards the device that we can only guess is the cause or the reason behind this portal. But the gravity sucking in the portal is preventing him from properly reaching the device. So he's trying harder to reach the device. Then we don't know what happens at the end. So we're invested. This summary process can serve as a framework with which you ask questions in order to boost your visual storytelling. Can you ask more questions? Of course. Just be careful that in your world building process, it doesn't get in the way of you creating the original illustration. There's nothing wrong with starting small. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope it helps. If you wanted to know more about the building of a portfolio, you can check out my past video where we went into what goes into a portfolio. And remember that every small step is a big leap forward. Have a great day.